who I've been bugging to present for a number of months, or since she joined I-10, and her technology is really, really cool, and I wanted her to come share it with you guys and get some feedback. So I will just turn the mic over to you. I will give you a heads up that BJ has found the other mic. So
give me a second, I'll have to switch stuff around.
okay, all right. I'm gonna. Yeah, you can have whatever, but when we get to Q&A, I'm going to want the one that I can walk around with, but it doesn't matter. So people can hear. I was just about to say you're going to have to repeat the question for the video, but we're good now. So cool, come on up, and I'll give you the,
that one?
yeah, and I'll give you the power of the clicker. Just you hanging out so you can see.
Yeah, I'll
this.
hang out.
Okay.
So
Can you
if
get
I
it?
can just switch it real fast.
What?
If you give her the wireless one.
I'm
Just
going to
like
give her this one.
I can do the other one.
Oh, looky there. You can have that. We're flexible here at 1 Million Cups. Can I turn this one? All right. Are you good? All right, I have my coffee. That's the most important. And I'll get out of your way. Don't trip over the HDMI thing. Maybe something on the other side.
All right, cool. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Like Melissa said, my name is Christine Slater. I'm the founder of Plain Louie, and our first product is called Biopic. Biopic is software technology that connects a wearable camera to a heart rate sensor. The heart rate sensor tracks the user's heart rate, and when a predetermined threshold is met, the camera is triggered to take either videos or still images. And that predetermined threshold can be customized to the user's resting heart rate. So this all started for me back in design school around 2012. My classmates and I were asked to spend time with residents of a retirement community and help solve some of their problems. And that's when I met Barbara. I quickly realized that Barbara needed to do a better job of staying connected with her very busy daughter. And even though her daughter only lived a couple miles away, they had a hard time staying connected. They felt like their conversations were pretty shallow, and this was a function of them not having a lot of insight into their day-to-day activities. They didn't know who each other spent time with or what they did on a day-to-day basis, and it forced them to feel a little disconnected. So I decided, or I asked, how can I do a better job of helping people stay connected by sharing their daily moments? I decided I would design a camera. Not a camera that captures everything like a GoPro. And was a little fed up with social media pictures that are perfectly curated and manicured. I wanted to design a camera that would capture our most meaningful moments throughout an experience. But how do you decide which moments matter? You may have seen this coming, but you follow your heart. The beauty of this technology is that it isn't just for Barbara and her daughter, and it isn't just for me and my family, but there are broad applications. It's useful in any situation where you want to capture meaningful and significant moments effortlessly. And this goes beyond social context. For instance, if you incorporate Biopic technology into a police camera wearable, officers are relieved of the responsibility of deciding when to turn their camera off because their heart rate is triggering that. Therefore, it reduces the amount of footage being captured, which reduces storage costs and reduces the amount of time being spent sorting that video. Similarly, or in a medical device realm, Biopic technology can help caretakers of patients with Alzheimer's and dementia who often lack communication skills. Unfortunately, we know that there's a lot of abuse in in-home care and in facility care with these Alzheimer's patients. And Biopic technology would help those patients communicate their most stressful moments and help their caretakers better meet their needs. Similarly, with parents with children with autism, Biopic technology would open up a lens and help the parents understand their children's day-to-day experiences and what they're stressed out about. On a much lighter note, we've imagined incorporating Biopic technology into the Magic Band experience at Disney World. So you can still get your requisite photos with Mickey in front of Cinderella's castle, but by adding a wearable camera and the Biopic technology, you'd be able to capture those candid moments where your heart races and you wouldn't have to worry about fumbling around for your phone or your camera to capture those moments. Last fall, when Snapchat launched their spectacle glasses, we recognized a moment to make that experience even cooler and deliver Biopic technology to a younger generation that often struggles with the paradox of wanting to capture their life in photos while also living fully and mindfully in a moment. And there's so many other applications that we've dreamed up. We think this would be really useful in consumer and market research when we're looking at ethnographic research or focus group testing. We think it's really useful in trade shows and music festivals when you can capture what's trending in a wide swath of people. We think the technology is useful in schools and classrooms to help students and teachers. And we think it would be a really fun addition to something like wedding photography. So, what's my progress so far? Back in design school, I built this clunker of a prototype. It was really fun to build and taught me a lot. And that led me to filing for a patent. In February 2016, I was granted a utility patent to protect the technology, and I currently have other patents pending. I was able to raise a little bit of money and build a new set of prototypes like the one I'm wearing today. And we've used those prototypes with different people in different scenarios to help learn and help make the technology better. So this is my friend Audrey. She wore one of the prototypes to the Magic House, and she was playing around with it and decided to put it on her head. And it was kind of interesting and helps us think about how to improve the technology going forward. And this is my village of supporters. I've been lucky to have a lot of people help me out from a legal realm, from a hardware software development realm, and a business development realm. So I'm very thankful for all the help that I've gotten, but that's part of the reason why I joined I-10, because I want to grow this village, and that's what I need from the community. I need to meet you guys. I'd love feedback and see what I'm missing or learn from your experiences. And then my next goal is to grow the company. Right now, Biopic technology relies solely on heart rate to trigger the camera. But by incorporating heart rate variability, we'd be able to trigger the camera based on positive or negative emotions, which makes the technology all the more powerful. So in the near future, I want to fundraise to be able to connect with physiologists, psychologists, and software developers to help make that goal happen. So that's Biopic. I'm Christine Slater, and I'd love to take any questions or comments at this point.
Anyone that calls me during 1MC doesn't really know me, and my husband just called me. I'm like, I am busy. Sorry about that. Don't worry, just as you were finishing. Okay, who wants to start off?
Technical question, like how is the heart rate monitored? Using the camera itself, or you have another wearable?
What's that?
How do you monitor the heart rate?
Right now, so on this wearable, this is monitoring my heart rate. Sorry, this is monitoring my heart rate off of my ear. But I built these prototypes with monotest technology. I got all this off of Adafruit, and with the help of some guys down the street, pulled these together. But depending on the scenario, you can pull it from an Apple Watch or a heart rate fit, anything that is tracking a continuous heart rate, and we can open the API and just have those things talk to each other.
So which site did you get it from? Adafruit?
Pardon me?
Which site did you get it?
Oh, Adafruit. I think it was mostly Adafruit, some SparkFun pieces. Yeah, Adafruit's great. If you're not familiar with it, it's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It strikes me that relying on heart rate would give an awful lot of false positives. So, wonder, have you considered contextual cues, artificial intelligence, based upon what's going on in the picture, that sort of thing?
Yeah, that's certainly.
To a particular person that interests themselves.
Yeah, that's interesting. So it's certainly something we're aware of, and as the technology grows, we'd like to incorporate maybe some other sensors like skin conductance to help get that exactly what we're looking for. And then there's some sorting that we can do once the pictures or videos are captured to know. So if I'm walking upstairs and my heart rate happens to go up, we can pull that picture out and just edit it out, make sure that if there aren't faces in the photo, or if there isn't context that we're looking for, we can hopefully edit those out post-production. Hi.
Can you talk a little bit about how you're storing the photos and the video that you're capturing?
That's a great question. And again, it really depends on use case where we think it's most useful. For things like a police camera wearable, We think it's actually best to be stored on the device as opposed to in the cloud, just for security issues. And I think when we talk through that, it would be the same for medical patients, for anything like security. Now, when we've talked to parents with children that they want to track, that live time communication, imagining getting a photo on their iWatch in real time if their child's out in a playground and having a situation, to be able to get that contextual photo in real time is pretty meaningful. So it really depends on the use case, on whether that information lives in the cloud and is transmitted wirelessly or stored on the camera.
So you talked a little bit about Snapchat spectacles.
Yeah.
If you were gonna put it on like a set of glasses or something, could you just put the heart rate monitor like in the frame?
Exactly. We're thinking, you know, off of the arm, right behind the ear, because this is a great place to grab heart rate. So spectacles are super cool, and I love them. And I was so excited when they were launched, but I'm a little selfish thinking that this technology can make them look just a little bit cooler.
Yeah.
Can you talk about your current patent, what that covers, the utility patent, and then what your strategy of the other patents is
Sure.
for your tech?
So I'm not a legal mind, but I'll speak to it as articulately as I can. I've got some patent attorneys at Harness Sticky who have done a great job of broadening the patent. And what it covers is any mechanism that triggers a camera based on a biorhythm. So that would cover skin conductance, heart rate variability. So they did a great job of making sure that we're capturing any physiological change in the human body that triggers that camera.
What is the current state of the prototype? So if your heart rate is elevated, is it recording video? Is it taking pictures? Do you have the option to choose? How does all that work?
Yeah, so it's still a low fidelity prototype in a sense. Wearing it right now. This is a camera I bought on SparkFun. I think it was $18. So it does a great job of capturing photos, but it is a little light sensitive. When I've worn it at night, there's some blurriness. So the quality of the photos, those are all things, and that's a conversation I've had with my mentors, like how much do I struggle against figuring out camera technology or just figuring out ways to incorporate the technology into these broader ecosystems. So right now it's not my favorite camera, but it gets the job done, helping me understand the experience.
So you actually almost kind of answered the question I was just going to ask, which is, are you a hardware company or a software company?
It's a great question. It's something we've wrestled with and figured out. I think software right now is our focus. We think it's most meaningful. When even just building these prototypes, I realized how difficult that development is and how many things you have to worry about. And you have to become like a pseudo expert on things, manufacturing or these different parts and components, or you raise your expenses by contracting all of that out. I know the software pretty well. The guys who built it know it way better than I do. So finding these ecosystems that exist seems like a more efficient path to get it commercialized. If my arm is twisted and I need to become a hardware manufacturer, I would do that because I really want to see it come to life. But I think right now the easiest path is to focus on the software and getting it inserted into pre-existing ecosystems.
I completely agree. I guess my follow-up question to that is, where do you see that going? I mean, do you see yourself, like I'm talking 10 years from now,
Sure.
Do you see yourself, all of a sudden you're just partnered with GoPro and Snapchat and that kind of stuff, or is it some small company you'd rather work with than the big guys? I mean, don't fight the beast,
Man, it's such a good question, and I'm fairly new at this. At this point, any company who's willing to take it on and insert it into their products, I'd be excited about. Ideally, of course, I've reached out to Snapchat to see if I can get them to call me back. They're busy. They're not calling me back. But they're great partners. Of course, Apple, Google, all of those are like my dream partners, but they're also people who could very easily be like, thanks for the technology,
Right.
pound sand. And that's part of why I wanted to join I-10 is to maybe get partnered with smaller local firms that find the technology useful and just see how it can grow in their ecosystem and learn from that and grow.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Will this always be a point of view, pictures and video, or at some point you're going to turn the camera around so people can do selfies?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's actually something a lot of people ask, and I kind of refer to it in my Disney example as, right now, it is solely a point of view camera, and we're not saying you should exclude those opportunities to turn that camera around and take a selfie. Those opportunities still exist. This is really to capture those moments that you didn't expect. One of the things we've learned from the prototypes is it kind of mimics that experience back when I was in high school and we would take my disposable point and shoot cameras and drop them off at Walgreens, and I was really excited to get back to Walgreens and figure out what I actually took pictures of. The experience kind of mimics that, and that's been fun. So from a social context, that's great. One of the other things we're starting to explore is if we're able to have a heart rate monitor trigger a stationary camera, whether it be in a household or an amusement park or in a medical facility. So stationary cameras that are pretty common nowadays, and just have those different heart rate monitors the different heart rate trackers, trigger those cameras and tag them with, a personal ID and a timestamp, etc., so you can start to aggregate that information. It's definitely something we're considering as far as usability. Thanks.
Hey, so where I see that there are so many different paths you could go with this product, I want to know what your focus is, because it seems like one of the potential hurdles would be, I'm scattering this technology too widely and I'm not focusing on its best use. So how do you determine that, and then how does that influence your exit strategy?
Again, a great question, and not something I am confident I have an answer in it. It's definitely, this point in time, it's something I'm trying to assess. Because the technology is based solely on heart rate right now, personally, I feel like it makes a lot of sense for the police camera wearables, just to be able to capture those high intensity situations and reduce that amount of footage. And the struggle with police cameras right now is they're either capturing an entire shift, which is just an unwieldy amount of video, or there's a compliance issue where police officers, the onus is on them to decide when to turn it on or off. So I think that use case immediately solves a lot of problems. I think there are other use cases that I dream about that I think are great and probably more appealing to me personally, but I need to evolve the technology before they're really able to be commercialized.
Yes, could you talk a little bit about the team you've put together to try and bring this to market and why you chose those particular individuals?
Sure. So we're small but mighty. I kind of lead the force on that, but the man sitting to your right, I have leaned on in the last couple weeks to help me figure out conversations around business development and probably start to figure out the answers to the previous question. I've worked with a firm down on Locust called Happy Medium, and the guy there named Dan Pullman, who's been awesome and really generous, and he's helped me pull together the next generation of prototypes. I worked with a professor out of Truman State, his name is Frederick Schaefer, and he's one of the local experts on heart rate variability, and he's helped me. I just shot him an email, and he's really generous and went out to visit his lab up there, and he's helped me think through heart rate variability and what are the real possibilities in that realm. So we have a certain level of confidence that eventually we'll be able to get there. And then I have a small group of investors back from Boston who, they're more friends than investors, but they were really excited about what I was doing. So, and then I've got some people, from my 9 to 5, I'm a designer at Purina on the innovation team. So I've recruited some people in the marketing teams there to help me think through how do I bring this to life, and how do I answer the questions from a marketing side of things.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
Does the camera use flash?
Like a flash?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a flash or a flash memory, sorry.
Or like a flash when you're taking a
No,
picture.
we don't have a flash built into this. One of the things I learned from the first prototype and from Google Glass is people find it generally pretty creepy if they don't know that you're recording. And so I built a light. I don't know if you've seen it go off, but probably a lot right now. because my heart rate's relatively high. But every time the light goes off, it means a picture's being taken. It was just to kind of reduce that creep factor a little bit.
Is there any IP around an algorithm to identify when to take the photo? And I mean, you talked kind of about this a little bit, about the identifying what emotions based upon the heart rate, but in its current state, is it just an algorithm? And what is that written in? What language is that written in?
That's a good question. I can find out for you. The guys at Happy Medium would be able to answer that question for you. And then right now we have an open continuation on the granted patent. And as we get to a certain level of confidence that we've made that code as sophisticated as we can in its current form, we'll try and add that into the continuation of the patent.
So you have a granted patent?
Yes, sir.
That's great. So,
It's a small victory.
are they, you said they're working on extensions. Are those extensions on the core or on the applications?
On the applications, I mentioned before, kind of thinking about the stationary cameras, things like that, other applications that we thought we could get some protection in that realm.
So having a patent is a really good idea. Like what I always think, or what everybody tells me is like a patent is like a sword.
Totally.
I can use it, but it's not a lock. So like if you were in the medical field, especially when you look at Alzheimer's and things like that, if you can get a hospital system to adopt it, that's a much more stronger case, because hospitals are, they don't like to change very much, and once you have adoption over, say, a few hospital systems, you're good to go. I mean, it doesn't matter whether somebody wants to take away a patent or not, it's been already been adopted. So, and people are going to, say, if they see 10 hospital systems take it over, then the rest of them are going to follow suit.
That's, maybe we should have coffee, because I'd love to learn more about that.
I mean, that's
We have some coffee in
I mean, that's the easiest way of protecting your work. Like, sure. Otherwise, like Snapchat might say it's a logical extension of what they do,
right?
And then you have nothing. But if you have adoption in a medical field, I mean, nobody can take it away from you.
I appreciate that.
It will be very hard.
Thank you.
Can you talk a little bit about, because your company name is different from your product name, so obviously in naming your company, you have plans for other products, I would assume? Or
Yeah.
what's sort of...
None of them are nearly as cool. So, like I said, I'm a designer, so I naturally fiddle with things, and I'm a member over at Tech Shop, so I think, you know, there are just little things one off, and it was really a function of knowing that we needed to start an LLC and racking my brain and wanting to name it something cool, and we were literally driving to the accountant's office, and I was like, oh, okay. I used to live in Jamaica Plain, Massachusetts. I now lived in St. Louis, Missouri, and it just seemed like a good, quirky name.
Yeah, it's people to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think you touched on this a little in your presentation, but just to drive it home at the end, what can the community do for you?
I think that's a great example, like getting me to think, you know, more broadly about how to get this commercialized in a meaningful way. I've been working on this since 2012 in kind of fits and spurts, and I'm in a place where I have the time and the energy to really drive it forward, and getting that patent and getting the prototypes is a good stimulus to move forward. But I want to do it in a meaningful way, so and then once I'm in a place where I think I want to have a fundraising campaign, I'd obviously lean on the community for that as well.
All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for the question. I really appreciate it.
And just a reminder too, if